Before I start my 6 minutes, I'd like to say that this is my first time to be here. And to be quite frank, I pretty much had the fear of God that if I went over 6 minutes, that something bad was going to happen. So I actually went and I got myself a clock. I'm glad to see that that's not going to happen. But also, before my 6 minutes, you may be asking, what is this guy, this corporate guy, doing here? First of all, I'm not really a corporate guy. I just retired from Texas A&M after teaching global entrepreneurship for the last 20 years. Also, I come from rural roots. I lived and actually rode a school bus 20 miles to school every day in an area through snow in Amarillo, Texas. But when I was in 10th grade, my father, who worked with Texas A&M, actually was asked to go and work overseas in international development. And so I moved to the Dominican Republic. And that's when my life started changing a lot. So I just set that stage. And lastly, being different, I have one slide that I want you to look at 20 times instead of having 20. Part of that is because I hope when you leave here that you will have that memorized. Lastly is, I have practiced this thing, and it's going to be fast. I'm going to sound like the guy, that does the disclaimer on TV. That said, I'll move forward with this. Yeah. It's a pleasure to be here to visit with you about globalization and a vision and a new perspective and an opportunity. An opportunity to create jobs and revenue in your community using the wonders of technology. What I like to call eGlobalization. This presentation is designed to make you think outside the box about your community and globalization. This will be stimulated by a series of questions, which I hope you'll respond to within yourself and not out loud. Question 1. When you woke up this morning, did you give any thought to globalization? If not, why not? Question 2. Does your organization have globalization noted as one of the top 10 opportunities for your community? If not, why not? As I read this quote, please ask yourself, who offered us these words of wisdom? Did you ever stop to think that you can't leave for your job in the morning without being dependent on most of the world? You get up in the morning and go to the bathroom and reach over for the sponge, and that's handed to you by a specific islander. You reach for a bar of soap, and that's given to you at the hands of a Frenchman. And then you go into the kitchen to drink your coffee for the morning, and that's poured into your cup by a South American. And maybe you want tea. That's poured into your cup by a Chinese. Or maybe your desires of having cocoa for breakfast, and that's poured into your cup by a West African. And then you reach over for your toast, and that's given to you at the hands of an English-speaking farmer, not to mention the baker. And before you finish eating breakfast in the morning, you've depended on more than half of the world. These words were spoken by a person with an understanding of the relevance and importance of globalization. They were said by Martin Luther King Jr. in the Christmas Eve sermon on December the 24th, 1967. Should globalization be an important issue for your community and policy network? Question 5. Let's be truthful. Do you really feel and think globalization stinks? Because it's brought us outsourcing, job loss, contaminated imported products, immigration issues, and many, many more problems. Question 6. Do you sometimes feel like the U.S. and your community are losing ground to foreign competition? And worst of all, we're vulnerable and powerless to do anything about these forces of globalization? Question 7. Who offered us these thought-provoking words? And I quote, "We have to seek new markets aggressively, just as our competitors are. If America sits on the sidelines while other nations sign trade deals, we will lose the chance to create jobs on our shores. Export growth leads to job growth. Building exports is imperative. These words were spoken by President Obama in 2010 when he challenged us to double our exports. Why is President Obama encouraging us to expand globally? What has your community contributed to this challenge? Question 10. Why is President Obama encouraging us to explore global opportunities and essentially saying, go global, young men and women, to create your success story and to gain control of your destiny? Question 11. Could it be because 95% of the world's customers live outside the United States and less than 1% of U.S. companies that could be selling abroad are doing so? Let me repeat that. 95% of potential customers are overseas and only 1% of us are taking advantage of this opportunity. Is this an opportunity we're missing? Question 12. Why aren't more companies, entrepreneurs in your community taking advantage of global opportunities? When Horace Greeley advised "Go West, young man," Americans had to pack up everything and leave home to pursue their dreams. When President Obama encourages us to expand globally, we have the luxury of being able to go global from the comfort of our home, neighborhood, and community. With the use of modern technologies, we can easily reach out and tap the world of opportunities. Question 13. Could the hesitation be that globalization doesn't seem relevant to us or our community? Question 14. Why doesn't globalization seem relevant? Question 15. Could it be because we have been viewing globalization as a threat, not as an opportunity? You might ask, what difference would that make? With a threat, we usually take on a defensive mode to protect ourselves. But with an opportunity, we reach a more positive and more proactive strategies and actions so we can seize the opportunity. Strategic doing. Question 16. Could it be that our efforts to increase globalization have been national instead of being more focused on local and community efforts? What can you do to help your community take advantage of global opportunities? Make it a priority. Place a note in your mirror so each day you remind yourself to think about community global opportunities. Provide leadership. Organize an eGlobal club in your community to discuss and share ideas and network on how to creatively turn local opportunities into global business ventures. Take action. Encourage and initiate an eGlobal pilot project in your community. This is not an impossible dream. It's something you can start to make happen if you will just take the first step. Lastly, you don't have to do this by yourself. Network, network, network. There are many resources in your community that can be helpful. Also, I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. Feel free to contact me. Lastly, don't feel like you need to be a global expert. You just need to become a facilitator of an eGlobal strategic doing strategy. Thank you.